So how will you approach such kind of mechanism in terms of securing such information on the device? So let's start with DARA.
Uh, that is sort of tricky to be honest. But just the way I sort of it in my head was so you could still save the information on the device. Yes, those information you need to cache, save it on the device, but save it in an encrypted way. So you have an encryption key that the only thing you need to go fetch from the internet is the encryption key through your authenticated access. Fetch the encryption
Okay.
key, then decrypt the information, show it to the user. I think
Okay.
that is one of the ways I would approach it. To be honest, I've not thought of the best way to do it, but that was just the idea that came to my head.
Okay. I know it's something that sounds so yes. So, Diala, do you have any idea in terms of for this?
Actually, exactly. That was actually my thought, though, encrypting the data. But as a developer, you just need to be very careful about the data you will house on the front end. You
That's
understand?
fine.
Yes.
That's fine.
So you don't need to store the user's password. You don't even need to fetch the user's password. You don't need to fetch his credit card information. You don't need to fetch all those stuff. So what you basically need to fetch will probably be his name, maybe his email, his look, maybe his probably his address, or so maybe all those information that even the next person close to you knows about. So I feel that's the way to go to avoid fetching sensitive information. And even when you update your application, it's quite difficult for an attacker to get into the source code to retrieve those information. So once you properly build the application for production, but the primary advice would be never fetch sensitive information.
I've worked on different applications, because I've been invited for several private programs where I need to do some reverse engineering on those applications. So I've worked with a banking application, I've worked with a forest application, I've worked on social media applications. So those are private programs, so I can't share them here on this video. But the public program that I'm currently working on, I'm working on Twitter currently, the public program, so it's not private. So I discovered a whole lot of um, local storage on the device. Like what Twitter does is they have there's a table that is created on the device and different tables, and those tables had some sort of information on those tables. And I tried looking for a way to read those data on those tables, but it's quite almost difficult or impossible because it was heavily encrypted. I couldn't read the data; it was heavily encrypted. So aside that, I've worked with some application that stored users' information in plain text, like information like username, email address, session token, a whole lot of even, but I've not seen password. I've not seen password stored on the device in plain text, but I've seen information like this stored on the device. So it's like a mechanism I use in seeing how I can exploit the application using those sensitive. Because if you know how the user ID is stored, then you can guess a whole lot of different user ID. Like, okay, the series of the user ID is 6 digits, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you can guess a random user ID and fetch information of that user, and it's quite challenging for developers to get to know this, that some of this information that are stored on the device, it's quite dangerous when it gets to the hand of some attackers. So they can actually harvest users' information, that they are not authorized to get. So it's a good practice for you to encrypt data on the device, and not just encrypting it. You have to use some strong encryption algorithm so that it can't be easily decrypted and used for malicious purpose.